Well, gonna be a lot of videos on the break room this week because I'm trying to cram a bunch of stuff in at the last minute before the year's over, so I can consider them for my year in review video over on the main channel, Council of Geeks. But and also like the Batman trailer drop, so I had to deal with that. But anyways, let's talk about Encanto. I really wasn't sure what to expect from this one. The thing is, I kept seeing the trailers and thinking, well, there must be something like complicated or like there's a twist partway in that makes it difficult to make a trailer about. And like my main concern about that was like it seemed very small scale. It's like, okay, so there's this family and everybody in the family like has a magical gift except for this one character who appears to be the main character, and like the magic is fading and that's also tied to their magic house that they have somehow for some reason. But there has to be a bigger threat than just like they might lose the magic in the house. There has to be like a negative consequence that if that happens, this bigger thing will go wrong. Or what I kept thinking to myself, well, the scales, they can't be that small. The stakes, they've got to be bigger than that, right? Well, no. Actually, those are the stakes. More than anything, this film is surprisingly low key. It is ultimately a film about just family dynamics and interfamily relationships and trying to meet the expectations and the needs of those around you without sacrificing your own needs and without losing who you are to this grander idea that barely involves you, in which you are just part of a whole, but then you lose yourself into it a little bit. And the thing is, here's what's funny. I'll say right now, I actually quite enjoyed this. I don't know if I love it. I feel like I need to watch it again, but I did quite enjoy it. And what's funny is that ultimately what this story really is, behind the trappings of the magic and the sort of, goals of the main character and what they try and do to keep things from going bad, ultimately this is just a family drama. I don't like family dramas. I don't mean I don't like family drama as an element in a story. I just don't like it as a core narrative. And yet I like this. I think the thing is that the fantastical elements are what hooked me in and allowed me to not be bored, which is the main thing that I get with family dramas. I get real bored. But the fantastical elements and the very beautiful animation, it's got gorgeous. The faces are perfectly expressive, oftentimes very subtly so. And like, just weird thing to point out, maybe, I don't know, how flowy the skirts were, how beautifully animated that was. I loved watching that. That was fantastic. So it's got all that going for it, and that's what makes me okay with watching what ultimately, when you strip the trappings away, is just family drama. But it's those trappings that kept me around, because I wouldn't have sat through this otherwise. But with those trappings in place, yeah, that's pretty good. As far as the characters go, our main character, voiced by Stephanie Beatrice, is great. Like, she has fantastic energy. She's got a great singing voice, and she is able to communicate a lot, again, with, at times, very subtle delivery in the voice and the face. I'd be lying, though, if I didn't single out Louisa, who is the sister who got massive strength. And, between her look and having, I feel, the best song in the show, which also like is in many ways a mission statement song for what the film is actually doing. Yeah, I like her a lot. Yeah. Anyways, the rest of it, like I said, it throws you off because the magic is so impressive and the visuals are so impressive to have it be so small scale. And like, it's not like Disney films haven't had family drama as a core element before, but it's usually an undercurrent. It's a background issue with, living up to expectations or fighting against what is expected of you. Like a lot of the Disney princesses have that going on, whether it be Moana or Merida or Ariel. So there's family tension in the background, but the actual narrative is something else. This is, it's very finely focused. Like for all the magical trappings and, you know, people who can control the weather and people who the flowers just follow them whenever they move anywhere and people who can shapeshift and all this stuff. For all that stuff, this is just a story about when you're trying to do quote unquote what's best for your family, don't lose sight of yourself and don't lose sight of why it matters that you're trying to do something for your family. Don't let the idea of for your family become this abstract ideal that you are striving for, as opposed to the actual people here in front of you. Remember that your family is people, not an idea. It's not a concept. They're real people with real needs and real complications in their lives. And it's funny, I feel like I'm talking myself into liking it even more than I already did. And I did enjoy it. But I remember coming away thinking, yeah, that was good. I liked it. I don't know if I love it, but I liked it. But the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, it's just nice to see them scaled down and have it be a smaller story, a more intimate story that is really just about coming to terms with the people you love in your life and trying to help them come to terms with you, even if you feel like you can't measure up to them or they feel like you're in some way a disappointment or don't fit in. It's nice. It's just nice. I do feel like a couple of the songs, like Lin-Manuel Miranda did the songs, I feel like a couple of them are like a little too fast. So like the one where Mirabel is explaining, you know, the family's powers and who has what power and all that. I know how fast she's going at later points in the song is part of the joke, but like I did have a hard time keeping up with her even earlier than that. It's very rapid fire, and sometimes that works. Other times, like, can we like slow it down by like a tenth? But that's a nitpick. This was good. This was enjoyable. This was heartwarming. This felt like its heart was in the right place and it delivered on what it set out to do. And sometimes it's a more noble thing to aim smaller and really nail it than to shoot for the stars. Nothing wrong with doing that. I love big ambition. It's great. But sometimes if you just go small, you can really zero in on something that you don't get when you aim big every time. And I feel like Encanto gets that as a film, as a final product. I like it a lot. Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments and we'll talk about it. There's the likes and shares and subscribes, and I have a Patreon, which pays my bills. Links to other things down in the description, such as my Twitter and Twitch and all those sorts of things. Check those out. Hey, why not? Make it a New Year's resolution. Take in more of my content. Or don't. Whatever. It's not a big deal. Because take a relaxed attitude around here, so you just come on back next time you need a break. None of this would have been possible without my supporters over on Patreon. In particular, I want to thank Robin Powell, Raven McBain, Tracy Scrabbit, Vincent Paul Bartolucci, Robin Moore, and Shayla Gourlay. If you'd like to hear me possibly mispronounce your name, maybe consider looking at the reward tiers over on the Patreon. But either way, don't worry about it too much. Take care of yourself.